All right, what's up and what's going on, y'all? This is Al, Poker with Alex, and good morning to everyone that views my channel, that leaves likes and new subscribers. Appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. Yesterday, I had a good session. In my mind, in my eyes anyway, I had a good session because I walked out ahead. Even though I didn't get a lot, I got enough that I was, that I can live with. So basically, I bought in for 300. We didn't get started till almost 1 o'clock, and I got there between 10:30. I got there between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. But because they had tournaments going on, they had a WSOP event taking place where they are catering to the winner 15,000, 10,000 for the buy-in for the WSOP, and 5,000 for hotel expenses, things like that. So basically, that is the tournament that was taking place. So we didn't really get a good cash game going to almost 1 o'clock because some of the players were in the tournament. But anyway, we were on the table and discussion came up about certain players, yours truly, myself, right? I'm known as in that house, I'm known as a player that is, if you wanted to define it, you would say that I'm more standard, right? I will be patient and I'll wait until I get the hands that I feel can get the best results. I can live with the loss. If I lose, then I can say, okay, it just wasn't meant to be with that hand. But I had a good hand. I didn't come in with a 8 deuce, or I didn't come in with a 3-9 or something like that. I didn't raise $30 with a pair of threes or something like that. And these are your wide range players. So conversation happened and we were going back and forth about it. And then somebody told me, they said, Al, I can't tell. Basically, I can't tell if you're bluffing, right? I took it as a compliment. Now, the other guys that we were having a conversation between, they make it where when they come to play, it's not about, I guess you can say, the technique of what you feel poker should be, right? If you had to look at it on a scale and you weigh the pros and cons, you're going to say on the con side, they come in and people are betting, and when they get around to them, they'll raise. Won't have anything that made sense of why they did it. They just do it because they're trying to get people to fold, right? They're being aggressive. They have a wide range, and they're known for having a wide range. So I decided, because I went to my therapist, Google, poker, and I typed it in. I said, which poker player is better, the wide range player or the standard player? It said, this is from Google. It said, neither player style is inherently better than the other. Instead, they serve different strategic purposes depending on the player's skill level and the opponents they face. Wide range players are harder to read and exert more pressure, but standard players make fewer costly mistakes. Now, to me, making fewer costly mistakes is a plus. It's a benefit because you're taking your game seriously, not more than that wide range player, because if that is his game, he or she, if that's their game, then that's their game. But when you're doing standard, I think we understand what comes along with that. We know it's about timing. We know it's going to be about patience, right? We know that we may be sitting there and may not catch cards that we're looking for. And we can live with that, right? Because our main goal is to hold on to what we have so we can make a bigger profit. Because the lower your chip stack goes, the lower your cost, the lower your advantage of an earn goes, right? What you're losing, you're actually making back when you win. And when you look at your chips and you're saying, hold up, I just won a big pot. Where my chips at, right? You ever do that? You get caught up so much in it that you thought you won a big pot, and then you're looking at your chip, and then you're like, oh man, yeah, I went down almost 150 though. So basically, when I won at 200, I only won $50 back, right, as a profit. So that is the reason why a standard player make the moves and decisions they make, such as myself. I don't like to see my chip count dropping down so low that when I do win, finally, then the only thing I'm doing is getting my chips back that I lost. Does that make sense to you? You see where I'm going with this? But the wide range player, I'm just going to say this. The wide range players I see going in their pocket to grab out more money, or they're going to the ATM, or they're asking somebody, do you have Cash App? Right? It does happen. Now, let's go with the wide range player. It says the wide range player enters many hands and bets or raises. See all this stuff I just said? This is what was taking place yesterday. This is what was taking place. Raises frequently, putting massive pressure on opponents. The pros. This style covers more board textures, allowing the player to bluff more easily, win smaller uncontested pots, and disguise premium hands. They do this. The cons. Playing a wide range means holding weaker starting hands. This requires incredibly advanced hand reading and post-flop decision making to avoid costly mistakes. So if a wide range player is sitting at the table with standard players, 9 times out of 10, he's not so aggressive that he's pushing the standard players out. The standard players are just saying, not now. I got time. I'll be patient. I'll wait. He's going to do it. He or she is going to make that move. And when I do have the right hand, my decision will be easy. Let's get it. Which was the case yesterday. Now, granted, he did have pocket kings. And the person had pocket aces. The person that had the kings, he betted. Aces said all in. Kings didn't even think, right? He didn't even think because of the way he plays. Those kings never made him think and halt. If somebody says all in after you bet, and they say all in, you may want to step back, think about it for a minute. What am I running into? Conversation comes up at the table where people say that if somebody has aces and I have pocket kings, then I'm not folding. I've heard players say that. I folded queens, I folded kings because of the opponent that I was facing, because I knew they were a standard player. I've done that before. And they've said, good fold. You read me right. I had aces, right? The other thing is they know you. They know about raise. I didn't come in with a junk hand. I didn't come in with a hand that was broken. I came in with some power. And they could have trapped me and figured and probably could have made more money off me. But because they know who I am and I know who they are, they just decided to say, you know what, all in. I'm not even going to take a chance with dude because I got a funny feeling. I got aces. He must have kings. He must have queens. So let's get it all in. Now, if he says all in and I have a chip lead that is not going to hurt my bankroll, right? It's not going to hurt my poker stash that's at the table with me right now. If he says all in and he does it with $75 and here I am, I'm still sitting with my 3-something and he says all in, you know I'm going to call that. That's a no-brainer. I'm calling it. But yesterday when this happened, he said all in and he had pocket aces and he was sitting well over $400 and some dollars. Well over $400. And then the other guy said, I think he said how many times. So I'm not really sure if they ran it twice or not. But the aces I know held up and that was a wipeout. So because of him having a wide range, if he was a standard player, in my mind, in my opinion, he would have stepped back and he would have analyzed that situation. But no, he snap called because that is his style, being aggressive like that. So he snap called. All right. Say who it works against, excellent against predictable type players who fold too often, right? So he can make that work. Again, we're talking about the wide range player. He can make players fold that are predictable, type players who fold too often. If I'm under that category, then I'm happy with that because I know I played not by the definition of what a tight player is. If I got a hand, I'm coming. But I will fold okie dokes. If they don't make any sense to me, what am I doing calling you? I'm not there to entertain and say, oh, I pulled it off. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what some of the players do. They do that. They sit at the table, and when they win with certain hands, they think they giving each other high five. They laughing and everything, right? That is what they do. So, you know, these are the players. They do that. All right, standard player, tight aggressive. It says tag for short. A standard player sticks to strong premium starting hands and plays them aggressively rather than passively. I know that's me because when I'm playing, depending on where that button is at or where I'm at on the table, I will bet accordingly. I always make sure that I'm paying attention to my surroundings of where that button is at before I make my decisions. If I'm trying to make money, I may not come out and bet aggressive if I want people to come along, but I will bet good enough to make them think about it before they do come in, right? But if I'm trying to make money, I will make it low enough that I want to, wet they whistle, and they may have something like somebody may come in with jacks. I got aces. They come in with jacks. I don't want to chase them off. I want it to be between us, right? I got the top starting hand, so I want that to be that way. It says the pros. This is the gold standard strategy of most poker formats. It keeps game low risk and avoids difficult decisions with medium strength hands. The cons, because this player folds most of their hands, observant opponents may easily figure out when they are weak or strong, making them predictable. Now, this is true. When you are playing this type of skill, you have to make sure that you understand if you don't want to chase players off, then you're going to have to gamble by not making aggressive bets. If you get pocket aces and everybody knows that you play what they consider tight, and you take those aces, and before anybody starts getting to it, it comes around to you first and you go 50, right? If you go 50, what you think gonna happen? Everybody's gonna fold because they know who you are. But if you want to gamble, right, that is why, in a way, I get what it's saying. A wide range player, you never know where they're at, but a tight player, people pretty much know, especially if you're playing in an establishment where everybody is there pretty much constantly on a regular basis, where you walk in and you know each other, you know the family, you have conversation about life and all that kind of stuff. People know you, right? So because they know you, don't think they don't know your game. If they know you, they're really studying your game as well, and they will pick up on it. So what do we do in these situations? You take your foot off the gas. You bring it down a notch. Gamble. Put out 6. Put out 5. Right? Put out 4. Put a number out that's so crazy that they come in. Right? If it's 1, 2, and you want to make it $4, go $4. Right? You're gambling. You're taking a chance. But if everybody calls that $4 and you spike an ace, right? You get another ace on the board. It turns into a flush for you or whatever. You're going to get paid. You're going to get paid. Trust me, you're going to get paid. But you don't have to change your game up just to make players call you in a way. I'm trying to make sure I make sense of this. because I said you want to change it up a little bit. But what I'm saying is you don't want to do it in a way that is going to bring negative results. You want it to be positive. So you want to make sure that you can control the issue. Now, if you get those pocket aces and you are on the button, then that's perfect, right? Because you're last to act. Now, if somebody in there before it got around to you got those kings like I was talking about, or had those jacks, those queens or whatever, and here you are with pocket aces, you on the button, they can't do anything but fall prey. And all you can do is hold on and hope that your aces do hold up, right? And if they do hold up, then you're going to make money. That's what you want. That's what you want. So being tight is not a negative. I think it frustrates. Me, myself, I think it frustrates the wide players because I've had people say, I've had a player sitting at the table with me, and I swear to God, we used to bang heads, and he's a young kid, and we'll bang heads. Got a lot of respect for him, but he's a young kid. And he would sit there and say, bet your hand, what are you doing? What are you doing? Bet your hand. To me, that was him telling me he can't read me. It's frustrating him. It's frustrating him. Why did I not bet to give a signal to him that I had a strong hand? He knows that I only bet when I got a strong hand. But because I changed my game up, because I need action, and I came in low, he can't figure it out. So his only response is, what are you doing? Bet your hand. That is what they do. And you love it. That's what you want. So to me, I like being standard. I don't get a kick out of being a wide range player because I've witnessed so many wide range players go back in their pocket, go to the ATM. Me, myself, I've had to do it. I've had to go get money back and all that kind of stuff. But I always see it as if I'm doing it, it's because I went down fighting. It's not because I try to come in with an 8 deuce of spade, or I try to come in with a 7 jack of hearts or something like that, right? I came in with the best opportunity to give myself to actually turn over and get, great ending results on the poker table. That's what I'm trying to do. So it said, which should you choose? In the summary, it said the most reliable and consistently profitable strategy for beginners is the standard tight aggressive style, as it relies on math and fewer difficult post-flop decisions. However, to reach elite professional win rates, understanding how to transition to a wide range, loose aggressive strategy allows you to dominate tough, observant players who can be outplayed. All right. To study and refine on ranges. Okay, it said, check this. Now, I'm still, because I've been playing long enough that I can stay in my lane with how I like to play it. And the reason why I like to do it is because, like I said, people can't see you coming. They don't know when you're bluffing, right? So do you think I don't bluff? They don't know. Like he said yesterday, a guy that plays me, he said, I can't tell when you bluff. Now, I can honestly say that I bluffed this young man probably about 4 times, maybe 4 to 5 times, and me and him going heads up because he would call and that board would go low. But I always did it when I knew I was going to be first to act. And when I bet it again, he would fold. He would fold. Those were my bluffs. So it does work when it's the right time, the right place to do it. But always remember though, when you're playing in an environment where everybody knows your game, then it's hard to pull off, I guess, being a tight player, but you can work it in your favor. It just has to be perfect timing. You need to be in the right position in order to pull it off when people won't see it, if that makes sense. So, like I said, I think that if you have 9 players, it's going to be boring. It's going to be boring. Believe me, you want wide range players at a poker table. You do, because they don't, it's almost like to them, the rush is winning by being aggressive. And they don't mind reaching back in their pocket. They don't mind going to the ATM. They don't mind asking somebody if they got Cash App or something like that. So I want one or two. I don't want 4 or 5 of them sitting at the table, because then that's going to make it a hard game. It's going to make it every time you do something, if they go over the top and if you don't have the surefire winner, right, you're going to fold a lot of hands. So what do? Right? Do you wrap it up and just, I know older gentlemen that when they see those type of players at the table, they will say, cash me out, because they're not there to gamble on that level. They're there to play poker. And to them, they're seeing the smart side of the game, right? They see it from the analytical side of the game, where you have the wide range player just saying, hey, I got chips in front of me, let's go. That's what they're there for. So again, in a perfect world, in a perfect poker world, you want 9 players to come in and make it a gentleman game. But it's hard. It's hard. So there you go. That is a fine breakdown between the wide range and the standard player. Which one are you? Like, share, leave comments, hit me up. Tell me what you think your game is best recognizable for. Do you like being a standard player? Do you like the wide range? Right? So with that said, I'm out. Y'all be cool. Peace.